All right, Jack, thanks for hopping on with us today. As a personal friend, I'm fired up for you to be a success story with GC coaching. Let's kick things off. Where were you on your fitness journey when you started working with GC coaching?
Yeah, I felt like I was pretty okay at fitness. Lifted for 11 years and I was pretty inconsistent. So when I would lift pretty intensely and it was a great workout and I'd go for runs. I was pretty well conditioned, but it was just inconsistent on both the days and the frequency per week that I was working out.
Got it. And you've got some experience coming in. You've been in really great shape before. Coming to GC, you weren't out of shape by any means. Why was it really important and valuable for you to make the commitment to coaching? And was there anything challenging for you about making that commitment?
Yeah, so I was in Peru in July and I took a hard look at my life, different areas of my life, my health, my fitness, my finances, my relationships, work, all that stuff. And what I realized it all boiled down to is when I take care of my physical health, the other areas of my life tend to improve. When I'm focused on working out, I tend to wake up earlier. I have more energy because I'm working out at the beginning of the day. I'm starting to work earlier. I'm a little more conscious about the food I'm eating, cooking more at home, which I like because it lets me unplug from the day, but also spending less money on food and just tends to be a little healthier. So I realized that if I wanted to improve all areas of my life, the easiest way to do that would be to start focusing on my fitness. There were definitely hesitations on my side. I've got a pretty heavy travel schedule, and I wasn't sure if I could do a sustainable, or I wasn't able to do a sustainable fitness program to that point, so I wasn't sure I'd be able to. But that's one of the reasons why I turned to coaching.
Thanks for sharing that. And I definitely resonate with kind of fitness being a really foundational element of our lives and how I believe that everything impacts everything else. Everything affects everything else. And so fitness really has that multiple effect across different areas. I'll pass things over to Connor here.
Yeah, Jack. So we know that you're definitely among like the top couple busiest, if not the busiest person that we coach. I know that I'm the one who's coaching you right now, so I can say that for sure out of the ones that I coach personally. So, in regards to work, travel life, social life, that being that busy, I guess for context, how often would you say that you're quote unquote home?
Yeah, so I did the math on this. Right now, I call Phoenix home, both mentally and legally, but I'm not always there. The last 70 days, I've been in Phoenix 30% of the time, Denver 28% of the time, Chicago 25% of the time, and 18% elsewhere. So effectively, home 30% of the time and on the road 70% of the time.
Got it. Yeah, it's a lot. How do you think that has made your coaching experience even more valuable with as busy and traveling as much as you are?
Yeah, I was not able to maintain a good fitness schedule in the last 3 years that I've been traveling a lot, and so I just couldn't do it on my own. But it's also really helped me because since it is a busy life, I don't want to have to plan my workouts. I've tried to plan my workouts a ton, and I'll do it like on my notes in my phone or on a Google Sheet. It just never really works out. And so it's really nice to just wake up in the morning, know what I need to do, and just do it, and have that be one less decision that I have to make, so I can focus my brain power and my attention elsewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Um,
I,
excellent. Go ahead. Great.
I definitely, by the way, I connect with that a lot. And especially having worked out for years, it's a lot easier to go into the gym and be like, I kind of know what to do. But I've found, even personally, having worked with coaches, just having that structure and not having to think about it, it's just having it outlined for you makes it a lot easier, a lot more effective. Jack, um, for you, when you started, how long from start did it take you to start noticing changes in your body from a physical standpoint?
Yeah, so like results in the mirror
Yeah.
took 3, maybe 4 weeks to see. I was definitely seeing my numbers go up every week, and the scale somewhat stayed the same, fluctuated up and down a little bit, but results in the mirror took 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah. And So the patience part is important. We talked a little bit about inputs and outputs. Um, and then the second part of that is, and you kind of answered it already, is the performance increase preceded the changes in the mirror. When did you start seeing performance increases?
Week 2, I was
Okay.
just able to do more.
So week one to
So
week
that,
two.
that was like right away.
Yeah, and
Great.
I'm just going to jump in here because I know you tagged me in something last week or 2 weeks ago. I reshared. What's the jump up in just from a percentage standpoint? I think you charted that out with was it deadlift? What were we up?
Yeah, so deadlift, I'm up something like 60%. I hadn't deadlifted in like 3 years, so last time I deadlifted, I hurt my back. Now I'm deadlifting way more than I was when I hurt my back. Started off at like 195 when I started coaching with you guys at the end of July, and last week I hit 315, 3 plates, first time, felt great.
That's awesome. That's huge. And I wanted to share something really quick, Grant. Just because again, I'm the one who has insight to the data. We do the qualitative, quantitative analysis. That's why we do both of those things. But what's cool is you mentioned not quite seeing the mirror progress, and it's funny how kind of things have changed because you saw the progress within the numbers and the weight that you were pushing up, and then a little bit on the scale, and then all of a sudden the mirror started showing up. And this chart, I wanted to share the body weight chart, and it looks like there hasn't been progress, right? But it's why we got to take that multifaceted data approach, because although even when you like started with us here, you're at 190.6 when you started, 192 as of, oh, I guess this isn't technically right. I just realized it said October 28th, logged in correctly, but at 192 here. But you shared some photos with us before, and I think this is what paints the full picture, right? And what we can tell from here is that, yeah, your body weight's up, but it's very evident just based on the muscle mass, and then also how clearly we can see the muscle mass. The body fat percentage is down, the lean mass is up, and so that scale doesn't.
We can only see the Google Chrome tab.
Oh, nice. I wish I would have shared that. Thank you. Photos here. So as I was saying, even though the scale is roughly the same, body fat percentage down, lean mass up, very evident within the photos. That's why we take that approach of looking at both. Testament to the work, but also just kind of how those results show up. It's a little different for everybody, but it's why we take that holistic approach in terms of collecting the data both quantitatively and qualitatively. And great job, Jack. You look awesome.
I agree. Following up on that, Jack, what are a couple of things that you feel like you've learned working with us or working with Connor?
Biggest thing is inputs and outputs. You'll see those spikes in the scale. Those were after not sleeping a lot, drinking a lot, being on the road a lot. I'm just sitting down. I did a road trip a couple weeks ago and just wasn't like moving around a lot, or having big dinners. And I realized that the more I'm tracking the inputs, the more I track the outputs. And those inputs are things like sleep, my water intake, my physical activity, and then of course my food. And then the outputs, both the weight number on the scale is sort of like input and output. The weights I'm lifting in the gym, and then the progress photos. That's been one of the biggest things. I've also learned the quality of calories is important, and the quantity of calories. Want to maintain my calorie goal, but the quality is super important. Never paid attention to macros, and I've recently learned that alcohol is a fourth macro. So there's a certain number of calories per gram of fat, a certain number of calories per gram of carb, and gram of protein. And then when you look at, so all foods have that split, and then calculate, and that's how they get calories. But then when you look at alcohol, there's like 1 gram of carb in a white claw, but 100 calories, and all those calories are from alcohol. So you're just drinking empty calories. But learn about the quality of calories. So always making sure that my protein intake is adequate. Also learned how to have a sustainable travel fitness lifestyle. So I travel with a lot of my fitness essentials like my scales, my supplements, some recovery tools, and just fits my carry-on. And then I had one more, but I'm forgetting it right now. Oh, recovery. Just gotta take care of my body. I never really stretched before. That's why I got injured in deadlifting. I was just going at it, and that was it. Some warm ups, light stretches, and nothing afterward. And now I'm lifting more than I ever have, and I'm not injured by any means.
Thanks for sharing that. And it's music to my ears hearing you. I'm like, gosh, you could be teaching some of this stuff now. That was the thought that was running through my head as you were sharing that. Jack, what's been your favorite part about working with us as coaches or working with Connor as a coach?
I'd say two things. First is the feedback. The weekly calls are super valuable. Kind of breaks down analytically and both qualitatively what my progress has been like the last week and then the last couple of months or since starting the program. So it's super helpful to have that outside perspective that isn't going to be biased at all because, in my mind, I'm always getting better, but you can be objective with me about it and hold me accountable and also tell me like, hey, if you're going to be going out and drinking, like, why would you expect your scale to go down or the numbers of the gym to go up? Just be very, very, very straightforward about it. And then the other part is it's a term that Connor's probably heard me say a ton is I just do what my coach says. Like I just unplug my brain from the process. And if he says to go like jump 1,000 times in the gym for the day, like that's just what I'm going to do. That's it. There's zero decision making on my part. It's just show up and do the workout. All I got to do is show up.
And I just want to butt in here and be really clear. I've never once told Jack that. That was just an example, but I appreciate the attitude, and it's reflected in the results. That's great. Thanks, Jack. What would you say to someone that's considered getting a coach? And your last answer kind of speaks to it, but just to round it out, somebody that's considered getting a coach before or doing some kind of training, but ultimately feels like they can just do it on their own.
Yeah, I'm gonna share my personal experience. Again, I've been lifting since I was 14. I'm 25, so that's 11 years, and I've been in pretty good shape basically that entire time. And I've been in great shape a couple of times. Most recently was 3 years ago, before the travel craziness. And if I kept doing what I was doing, I was gonna keep getting the results I was getting, which was good results. If that's okay. But I really wanted great results, and I realized that I needed help to get me to that level of greatness that I wanted to achieve. And so that's when I decided that coaching would be a pretty good option to get into there. Something else that I considered when I was thinking about coaching was just having to pay for someone to tell me stuff that I feel like I already know. And lifting for that long, like I kind of feel like I know a lot, but I decided to pay somebody to tell me stuff that I thought I already knew because one, I knew they had more expertise than I did, so I checked my ego a little bit. But two, I didn't want to have a situation where I signed up for something that's free and then I quit on it because it's really, no penalty or anything like that. I wanted to have some skin in the game and to hold myself more accountable because I'm going to spend money on something. I want my money. I want to get my money's worth, just whatever it is. And so realized that I needed to, just make a financial commitment and have some skin in the game to get the great results that I want.
Skin in the game. Very, very, very powerful concept. Last question for you, Jack. What would your advice be to someone on the fence overall, particularly for someone that's traveling a lot, doesn't think they have the time, doesn't want to invest the money, anything along those lines?
Yeah. Honestly, I would just ask them how important it is to them. Some people, it's not that important. And that's okay. That's just how they're going to live their lives, but they're going to keep doing what they're doing then. But if it's something that is important to them, like it was to me, then I was getting good results. That's fine, but I wasn't really, it's not what I wanted. Just realize that there are experts in the field that are super knowledgeable, will hold you accountable, and will take the difficulty of the decision making, the planning, the tweaking, the programming, and feedback, take it all out for you and implement it. Like right now, literally all I do is just show up. I just do the workout and I log my food and I submit my feedback form each week, or my results form each week, and it's just so streamlined at this point that it's good. I like it. So in short, I would just ask them if it's something that they value and they think that they would benefit from being in a better physical shape, then it's something they should really consider.
Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, it reminds me of what would be worth for you to up level this area of your life right now. And when I think about that, I mean, for this area of my life, it's of critical importance. So yeah, I definitely resonate with what you're saying. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, absolutely, Jack. This has been great. It's been awesome coaching you so far. I'm excited to see you finish this phase of the program, and then some. But I didn't do it enough justice, so I wanted to make sure I showed it again, just so you can see the drastic change from here to there. And we're not done yet. And this is great. The progress photos, but you've been doing phenomenal. This has been a long time coming. I'm glad that we're finally able to feature you here. And we appreciate you taking the time to be able to sit down with us.
Totally. Thank you. Appreciate the coaching and all that I've learned. And I've got another month and a half left and excited to crush it.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Thanks, Jack.